Welcome to a new video on my channel. Today I want to show you what to do if, for example, a 1.4 liter 16 valve seat Ibiza here is jerking. First of all, you take off this hose. The oil cap is now off. Filter box off. It's fixed at 4 points. I've loosened it a bit here now. For this little video here. So there we see the engine block. Then you're going to turn it left. Whoops. First, carefully remove the oil filler neck from its position. So, as you can see here, we can now very clearly observe our 4 individual ignition coils. 1, 2, 3, and 4, which are all sitting directly on top of the spark plugs. At this point, what we want to do is determine exactly which of these 4 cylinders is no longer firing or functioning as it should be. And for that, we'll check the ignition coils. For this, you'll need one moment an old spark plug, and we're going to put that on each ignition coil now. While the engine is running, we proceed as follows. We use an object here under the ignition coil. There's like a point where you can press and slowly pry the ignition coil out. Then you can take the ignition coil off. First, carefully open the cables here, so that you can also remove the ignition coil. So this is what the ignition coil connector actually looks like in detail. We can also take a look into the spark plug hole, peering down into the shaft itself. Very important, you can also see right away if the spark plug is full of oil at the bottom, then the valve cover gasket, in this case it's glued, so with a liquid adhesive. If there's oil in there, then that means you have a leak. Also good to know, it's nothing dramatic, but then, as I said, the camshaft cover has to be resealed. Okay, so now I'm going to put the old spark plug, the test spark plug, into this spark plug connector. And then we'll be right back. So the old spark plug is in. It's important that it gets grounded somewhere. And then we just screw the cap back on top of the engine block, the oil cap, and now I'm going to start the engine and we can see if this ignition coil is working. As you can clearly see here, the spark plug is sparking. So this spark plug connector is fine. You then do the same for each cylinder. I've already located my culprit here. It's this one right here. I'll just pull it out. And there you can see something interesting. It's actually broken off. The bottom part is stuck inside. And that's why it's no longer firing. Now I'll carefully pull it out with needle nose pliers. And I'll go get a new one as soon as possible. What you can clearly see here is this. Let me see if I can zoom in. Yes, you can see this black crack here. Let's zoom in for a closer look. Come on, focus on this black crack. What this means is that this connector, which is part of the device, had actually been damaged for some time without anyone noticing. The damage went unnoticed for a while, and eventually the connector broke completely. So it doesn't necessarily have to fall apart like it did in my case. It could also be that it's cracked somewhere and just doesn't work anymore. That's why testing it with the spark plug is very important. What else, or what I also experienced, I was able to get the part out easily with needle nose pliers, so that was no problem at all, in case yours broke off too. Well, it would be great if you like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments if it worked for you too. Thank you, take care, bye.